every man has two lives, and the second starts when he realizes he has just one.
Wow. So it's 9 o'clock, and I'm gonna try and record the rest of this and get it out. When I arrived at the Camino, taking photos and sharing them on social media was not my focus. My focus was being connected to a meaningful moment and being connected to something that I had put my mind to doing over a period of time. It's funny, when you are on the Camino, the very first night on the Camino, I stopped at a place called Orasan. And in Orasan, we had a community dinner, and everybody went around the room, and it was a significantly large room. I think maybe 20, 25 people there. And we all said what we were on the Camino and what meaning brought us here and why we were doing it. And I remember standing up and saying what I thought I was here for. And it was completely just, I want to say, it's not that it was untrue in the moment. In the moment, it was very true. But I was there because I didn't really understand why I wanted to be there. And I just knew that this was an experience deep in my soul that I had to go through. So the meaning was not dishonest, but it wasn't accurate. And being in the situation now, realizing that it's a part of being that one life that I want to live, well, that changes things. I'm a firm believer that you evaluate the experience of things at the end. Create meaning and significance for yourself to move forward, but evaluate your experiences at the end. Don't try and judge what they are in the middle. I've been struggling with this series of pictures and this video, and I think I've been struggling with it because the message that I would like to convey about how to live, it's really important to me, because the Camino for me wasn't a realization that I want to live. It's a realization that that's what I've been doing for the last 4-6 years in some way, shape, or form. And coming to Camino was the end of that path. It was the end of what I needed to know to live life consistently and be engaged in it. I recently had a conversation with my mom on her 79th birthday, which was just a few days ago. And we talked about spirituality, and we talked about meditation and the different aspects of what it is to be alive. And that's what it comes down to, is being alive is consciously flowing through your life with a directed decision of where you would like to go. And you only get to do this once, and that realization, when it hits you, it's your life that you decide to move on with and go forward with. And the key to the beginning of that, I think a lot of it is experience. You have to learn how to experience life. You need to figure out what it is to experience your life for you. And that step only starts when you start digging into all the experiences. As I mentioned, I struggled with this video, and the reason I struggled with it is the message. And it hurt. It hurt not to get it out. It hurt not to say it. It hurt not to bring this forward. It hurt because I know how easy it is to live life. It's like right at the end of your nose. The importance about experience is to to live, and experience is the first thing you have to understand. In order to live, you have to learn how to breathe. You have to learn how to connect with the present moment through breath. Breathing is something we take for granted consistently. It's something that we think is just something that goes on in behind us and around us, but it really isn't. Breathing is something intentional that our body does in order to keep us alive. And although that you don't hear the conversation is consistently going on between your brain and your lungs about when to breathe and when not to breathe, and how much oxygen is needed and how much CO2 is needed. So learning to breathe is part of living, and we take it for granted from such an early age that we never stop and learn. If you were in martial arts, you probably learned how to breathe. If you were a meditator, you probably learned how to breathe. But I think the key point to this is you have to learn how you breathe and what it feels like when you take that deep, intentional breath. Thought. The last thing you have to figure out for yourself is thought. Breathing plays an important role in thought. If you practice your breathing, you'll get space from your thought. And when you get that space from your thought, it's the time to look at them and observe them. And I wouldn't recommend trying to push them away or suppress them. When you're locked in with your breathing, locked into your experience, get that space from your thought and look at it. You don't have to analyze it, evaluate it, but listen to it. The space you get from this thought during this period of time may give you the opportunity to make different choices, choose different paths, continue to grow, or learn something about yourself that you weren't already aware of. Being connected with life doesn't mean that everything in life is perfect. What it does mean, though, is it means that how you feel about your life is uniquely your feeling, and you wouldn't want to give it away or hand it away to anybody else. And that's really the important part here. We don't want to give ourselves away. We don't want to give our life away. We want to be in the head of our own life and in control of those experiences.